Hey, there we go. Wow. Oof. Oh, sorry about that. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let me dial that back a little. How's it going out there, chat room? My name is Jeff Fritz. Whatever time it might be where you are, welcome back to the live stream. Today is February 4th, 2020. We're going to write a little bit of code today. How you doing out there, chat room? Let me take a look over here. Oh my goodness. There's a lot of folks here already. Hugo! Good insert time of day here. Yes. Rad401, good morning to you. Anyone else disoriented from the lack of countdown music and font change on the timer? What? No, not at all. It's wonderful. D.D. Walsh is back. Hello. Good morning after a really long absence. And yes, there's donuts in Bellevue. Of course, there's donuts in Bellevue. That's the only thing they have in Bellevue. Tech companies and donuts. It's a thing. I don't know. It totally works, though. Who else is going on here? Hugo is number one now in Cheers. There we go. Good morning, Eternal Dev Coder. Stelzy is here. Hello, Conficient. Good afternoon to you. It's afternoon where I am. I'm here in Stockholm, back in my hotel room. I wanted to stream from the conference yesterday. I wasn't feeling too hot and I had to cancel. But we're feeling great today and we're going to have a good time writing some code together. Let's see who else is here. Musical Bookworm, Phoenix D123, hello. Kabazi's here as well. Good to see you. Janescu, hello. Dee Dee says going to Bellevue City Council, talking to them about changing their motto to tech companies and donuts. See? It's a thing. Totally a thing. I fully endorse this message. So how you doing, chat room? We've had a tremendous 2 days here for the Svetug conference in Stockholm. You may have seen some pictures. There were some pictures that floated around out there, particularly if you were looking at the Twitters, as one does. You look at the Twitters, and I had the Blazor on. I had the jacket, and I also, as promised to our friends Jimmy and Jessica Engstrom, I had a pink beard. It was totally pink. It looked amazing. And
you blew it!
No. I had to take it off because it was so pink. I was using the same coloring that I've been using now for several different events. This is Colorista spray from L'Oreal. And this is the pink. Let me see. My focus needs a little bit of help there. So, Colorista spray. I've been using this as the hot pink that I had in the beard, and it was bright. It was a little bit crazy looking in there. Check this out. Look at this. While I still have light here. Look, I took it out, and you can barely tell the white there. It is crazy the amount of pink that I took off my face, and that's after I rinsed this out. That's what's left of my pink beard there. Absolutely so much fun to do the rainbow beard, the purple beard, now the pink beard for our friends here in Sweden for the Svetug event. So we had a lot of fun. Pink Panther Fritz, yeah, a little bit of that. Julix says, welcome to Scandinavia. Hope you enjoy staying. It's been tremendous. It has been. Same hat, 2 streams in a row. I know. What's this world coming to? What is this world coming to? Hang on. Let me fix that. Is that better? There we go. Somebody needs to post a pic of the pink beard. I don't need somebody to do it. I can just go to the Twitters and we can look it up. That's not my name. There we go. Let me head over here. We could show you what that looks like, and we'll get some music started while we're having some fun here. This, of course, is music to code by, and it's from our friend, Mr. Carl Franklin. And today I'm going to play Red. There it is. It's music that gets you in the groove, gets you focused on whatever task it might be that you're working on. Coding, doing homework, doing the dishes, doing chores around the house, writing documentation. Check it out at mtcb.pwop.com, or you can execute the music command in the chat room and get your copy today. Thank you so much, Carl. We appreciate you letting us listen to your music live on stream together. So here you go. You can see the pink beard out there. Yes. Take a look at my likes and you'll see a handful of pictures here with me with the pink beard. So, really, really fun stuff. And I don't know who that guy is. So, we had some fun with that and had a good time here with our friends. Talking about Blazor for web forms developers, which is a little bit of this ongoing project that we've been working on together here on stream to make sure that folks have a path forward, have a way to go with their web forms applications so they can take advantage of the latest and greatest user interface technology. So I want to spend some time taking a look at some of the concepts that I stumbled into with MasterPages that we're going to need to address. And it also feeds into this bigger idea of we need to be able to support the actual page that folks have. It's one thing to copy over your markup and be able to reuse it. And I know we still have a ways to go with a bunch of these controls, but I want to start the conversation because I was exploring something and I want to get your feedback, chat room, so we can write some documentation, lead people in a good direction with this, and maybe somebody feels motivated to take a pull request on this, but to think about the different ways that we can get our page to better interact with the entire web page. So our C# page, our C# Razor, our C# Blazor component, that's the entire page, better interacting with the web page that's rendered. Let's talk about that. Let's dig into that a little bit and we can learn a little bit more here. Eagle Hansen is here. Hello, Eagle. Good to see you. Let's dig in and see what we can find, see what we can learn. Thank you for the follow. Is it, wow. And Mr. Swez, or is that Mr. Swez? Or is it Mrs. Wez? Let me know. Welcome. And is that Gaholic or Georgiaholic? Welcome. Thanks so much for tuning in. Eagle says he's written a generator for about 120 wrapper classes around the AngleSharp library. Needs to make a testing library a little bit better. Now writing tests for the generated classes. Is it worth the effort? No, I don't think it's worth the effort. If your generator is tested and generated and you've proven it's working properly in how it generates things, I don't think you need to generate tests for all of those things. You're really just testing that the generator worked properly. Yeah, that would be about 30,000 tests. Oh, forget it. Mr. Swez, welcome in. Thank you. I'm happy to correct my reading there. It's a little bit harder to see because I've got my two screens here a little bit further apart, and I'm on the road. This isn't my normal setup, you know. I mean, it's a hotel room. You know what I'm saying? Let's see. And GA Holic. All right, I got it right the first time. Fantastic. Great to see you. Should have asked before I started. Nah, it's all right. Don't worry about it. We'll get into this. Let's talk about this because I think we're going to hit something here that's going to be interesting and fun to tinker with. Unhip Coder. Hello. And the Junie Von Esch is here. The Junie Von Esch. I don't have my Highlander clip here. There can be only one Junie Von Esch. Right? I don't have it here, do I? Yeah, there's that. So, all right. Let me talk a little bit about the MasterPages and where I kind of fell into this trap, this concern, and this question that I want to get your feedback on, chat room. It's important to me that I get some direction from you about how we move forward with the components and a little bit of what we're building here together. So let me show you where we are and the quandary that I hit, and start at least down a little bit of a spike to be able to discuss this further. I'm going to get my project open over here, and while that's opening and getting set up, here I am in Windows Terminal. Let me head over to BlazorWebFormsComponents, and you see this, I'm already working in a spike called page title. If that's not a hint as to what we're going to be getting into, right?
Do it!
We will. Okay? Don't test me. Let me change branches here. I'm going to change into my other spiked branch here. And a spike is really right? This is kind of where you're playing, where you're testing, you're experimenting, you're doing a little bit of research.
Oh my.
Blazor, Mr. Magoo!
Blazor Mr. Magoo just resubscribed for 22 months. Wait, it's been 22 months in 20 halves.
Thank you so much, Blazor, Mr. Magoo. Very much appreciate that. 22 months with us. All of that support is tremendous. And for all of our cheers, all of our subscriptions, all quarter long, we're going to make a donation to code.org. They're helping kids in schools learn more about science and technology by building curriculum that schools can use. Slava! Wow. Thank you so much for that cheer. I really appreciate it. And we'll make another donation to code.org. Let me just commit the files that I was tinkering with here, just so I've got something to work with. I can come back to when we discuss what I'm doing here with the page, because I think you might, especially Eagle and Mr. Magoo, I think you might have some opinions here that we can go into. First tests with a page. I put a colon instead. Oh well. All right, now let me check out and get over to my master page tests. So tests, experiments, this is where we left off with master pages. And right, there's this idea inside of web forms to make sure everybody's up to speed. Let me just recap what a master page is. There's this concept called a master page that helps define the layout for your website. You can have several of these, and if you look here inside of the Solution Explorer, I have Site Master and Site Mobile Master. Right? These are two that are given to you by default with the default templates from ASP.NET that define the overall layout, whether you're on laptop, desktop in Site Master, or if you want to have a little bit of responsive capabilities and for mobile devices, and that's what's in Site Mobile Master. But when you look at the contents of this, it's a lot of markup with some components in here that lay out the entire HTML page, right? Doc type HTML, head, all the meta, the title, right? Placeholder so you can add more goo, add more, right, scripts and CSS into the header of the page. I've got a form with script references, and here's my navigation bar, and scrolling down further, I finally have a content placeholder that specifies here's where my content, my page content is going to go in here. So a footer information, and it's the end of the HTML page. The problem we run into with Blazor is our applications, when we host them with Blazor, are hosted inside of some sort of hosting page in the server-side operation where it runs inside of ASP.NET Core. I have host CS.HTML like this that has, there's my HTML, and it has all of my links and my page title up here, and there's my body, and I've got an app tag that defines that directive, just like with Angular and Vue where you have JavaScript directive. It defines where to land all of my content. We got the audio right, Hugo? Right? We got the audio right. Motown Andy, I know. Web forms. Ugh. We're going to get this. We're going to get this looking good. Spicy Condiment, good to see you. Hello, hello. So, how do we modify and do things outside of this app tag? That master page was all of this stuff. And folks who built pages, folks who built master pages, were able to go and modify some of this other goo that was around their content. Well, okay, so the migration story for a master page is bust up the two halves of the master page. Put part of it, the HTML, all the way down to where you're going to start showing your content placeholder. Put it up here inside of your host, and everything that's below where you called the placeholder, this stuff you put down below it, down here. And you have to include the stuff so that you get the appropriate Blazor handling in there as well. And that's clumsy. That's a lot of extra stuff that you don't want to have to maintain and manage and pass around in there, because you're not gonna have a good time. Nobody wants to do that. There we go. Oh my gosh. Friends, Hang on. Wait a sec. Do you see what's going on here, my friends? 1 second. Hang on. Hit the brakes.
Hey, Ma! Can we get some meatloaf? We want it now! The meatloaf!
It's dinner time.
Doing?
I don't know what she's doing.
What she's doing.
I can't tell. She's on the other continent. I'm over here in Stockholm. Hey, Mom. Good to see you. Look at that. My mom's here. She's right there. Or over there in the chat room. Good to see you. JAF1021. Thank you for tuning in. Is it Mamunisa? No, I'm sorry. Mamun Isaac Proton. Hello. Good to see you as well. I know. So Robert Tables, I agree. Busted up. Robert Tables is another member of the Live Coders team. Good to see you. DJ Vortex, got your message. We're going to be recording your voiceover. I can record it here, or do you want me to record it on stream? Let me know. Let's do that. Let's talk about that. Let's see. There we go. Thank you for the shout-outs, Hugo. So we've got to bust up our master page and put it in these two different places. But there's things I want to be able to do back in the master page. Variables I want to be able to pass from the master page back down into the pages themselves. And things I want to push back up. So I started through this concept of master page settings as a collection of things that you could pass between these two distinct objects. And in Blazor, we create that with what's called a cascading parameter, and it's made available to the inner objects that are hosted inside of it. Okay, I think that works. So, to show you just a little bit here what I built, what I was experimenting with, and you're gonna laugh. Because you're gonna look at this and go, Fritz, come on, what are you doing here? You broke it. So let me scroll down and look at, here's the components. This is where we've been working. And I created a master page layout base with the idea that if you're building layouts inside of your project, instead of inheriting from layout component base like you see here, you inherit from master page layout base, and you get some master page like things that you could do. But master page isn't that simple. I need to identify the properties we need to bring over here, but the big thing I wanted to be able to do was pass settings back and forth between the two. So we created this concept of master page settings, and it's a cascading parameter so that these things are available to all the pages and things components going down the hierarchy. New master page settings. Build render tree. Well, build render tree, I was experimenting. This isn't really even needed here. I'm going to delete it. But on initialized async, in these settings, in our master page settings, we're going to set carry over, put a pointer to the state has changed for the master page object, and pass on initialized async. Now, inside of a master page that implements this, a layout that wants to behave like a master page, like over here in what I was trying to build, here's a layout. Here's a layout. This is a Razor file that inherits instead of inheriting from a component base or a base web forms component, it inherits from a master page layout base. Or, right, you would typically inherit from layout component base. It tells the Razor compiler that this is a layout thing. Well, we've added features to it to make a master page layout base. Now, I can inherit from another layout up the stack here. I'm going to inherit from the main layout. So, this is going to be rendered inside of the main layout as another layout that other things that reference and say use the master page layout here will be able to receive. That's a lot of layout words. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. So I created a main tag. That's an HTML5 thing. We can do that. Inner layout with an H2. Cascading value. I'm passing my settings down. And at body. That's how we say render your components inside of this thing. And I'm going to take a look at the chat room in just a minute. I'm going to catch up with you there, chat room. Trust me. So I put a thing here, random value and a value from page, and I said, well, let's see if we can pass values back and forth here. So here's a random value, and it's a new random up to 10,000. Let's just randomly choose a number, I don't care what it is, and pass it down. So I have settings, that's my master page settings, and I'm going to pass that random value into the dictionary. And I also want to get back from the page, the value from page, and set that over here. Do you see what I'm doing? Have you guessed what's going to happen here, friends? The index page that goes with this, instead of having the default layout that's defined over in our host file, in our app file, app.razor file, I can override and specify the default layout to the layout I want to use for this page by saying @layout. Very similar to how in our pages for web forms I could say master page is this thing. Well, here I say this is the layout I'm using. This is going to inherit from base web forms component. Well, that feels weird. I'm writing a page that isn't a web forms component. So let's pin that problem. We'll come back to that in a second. And this is going to listen on the control samples master page. On this inner page, I just put a title of inner page. Random value, and I want to receive that random value from somewhere. And I do that right here on parameter set async. That random value is whatever value we put into that test value object inside of our master page settings. It's available to us. It gets provided to us. This master page settings here, check this out. Check this out. I put cascading parameter master page settings inside of that base web forms component, so it's there for me when I interact with it. How's it going there, Kitstead? JAF1021. Look at that. Look at that. Very proud. Wow. Wow. I need a wow. Wow. There it is. Turtles all the way down, indeed. In my own time when I get back is fine. Well, thank you, DJ Vortex. I'll take care of that Friday or Sunday. We'll do it when we get back into North America. CSS magic is Robert Table's favorite kind of magic. You're right. CSS is quite magical. It's how we style things, make it look pretty in the browser. Turtles all the way down. You're right, Eagle. Oh my goodness. Trial and error. Oh my gosh, don't touch a thing. It works. Yeah, you aren't kidding, Hugo. Layout, you use that word, but I don't think it means what you think it means. You're right. You're right. I have that insult here somewhere. I do. There
you keep using the word. I don't know.
This is a container that it is not recommended to allow other components to invoke state has changed in another component. Eagle, you got that one on the nose.
60% of the time, it works every time.
Well, except this time. So let me show you what happens when I run this, and then we'll back off and take some other steps here, trying to figure out what's going on.
Oh my.
I know. What do you see? Because I broke it good. All right?
I love it when a plan comes together.
It didn't. There we go. All right, it's rendering. I'm going to have to change my theme back to light mode, aren't I? So you can see my face because of the lighting here in the hotel room. So here, I put a link to my master page demo up here. Thank you for the follow. Utica, welcome. You got it, Eagle. I'm not on an infinite loop here, and it's also, it renders twice, so it's passing down and giving me these values. But here, if I turn this value from page, if I turn that back on, I hit an infinite loop, which feels bad. It feels real bad. And I'm gone. I'm gone! You missed the viewer. Yes, the viewer meter here crossed 9,500. Words are hard. So it's still trying to load because I broke it. I broke it good. So we're calling state has changed from the master page, and it's triggering state has changed inside of the page itself. That's a problem. So I only want to trigger one state has changed at the end of this. when I'm done with all of my settings. And that feels bad. So, what do I do? How do I deal with this? I'm going to comment that back out so it stops and we don't have this infinite loop continuing over here. There it goes. So, I agree with Eagle. We shouldn't be running the, and I'm going to switch to light mode here. We shouldn't be running that state has changed notification to tell the entire stack to refresh every time. That feels like bad mojo, right? But at the same time, it's not going to refresh the page, right? So if I put this back in here and I go back over to those settings that I was building, right, where is it? Master page settings. So you can see here, I have a manual reload here that says state has changed, invoke, and it updates everything. And every time I set a value inside my collection, it invokes state has changed. It goes and notifies everything. So if I remove this one, right? Hard for me to see the cursor. If I remove those few, and let's try and rerun this, does that help? Does that get us somewhere? So, right, we're chasing this goofy infinite loop, right? Now, I did put back in this, so this is inside of index. It's passing value on page into the settings there. Thank you for the follow, Renato 1891. Welcome in there. Appreciate you joining us. It's setting that, and it should bubble up to here to my layout, so that I can paste the value from page here, and it's not getting that value bubbled up to the master page. It's receiving it being pushed down, but it's not bubbling up. Zebcode, hello. Stelzy is suggesting a pub sub thing of state has changed that only does a state has changed who cares for a particular value and once. So calling state has changed does not do anything if the component has already been marked as needing a re-render. So you can call it many times within the same render cycle. Okay. So it's interesting, right? I want to trigger the state has changed. I'm triggering it from two different places because, and I think I'm actually crisscrossing here, and it doesn't like that is what's going on. Let me show you what I mean. If I were to put a second random value here in the layout, second random value, sure. Let me copy that. Second random value, and we just output that, and I put that in here as well. As soon as it puts that second value in, I'm hitting the same refresh, right? I think I'm clobbering it from both sides. Maybe I'm wrong, right? Int, let's do this. Second random value on page, right? And settings, second random value, and refresh this. And I think I'm still clobbering it, so I don't know.
Listen.
Yes, what's up, Hugo? There was a points redemption. Oh no! Who redeemed change font to my choice for 15 minutes? Oh no. It's that Svava Blount.
You're about to get a serious beatdown.
I am. Unicorn font. Unicorn font. There's some serious mischief there. So DD, where is it? Right, VS Community, right? Visual Studio. Asking about the Wingdings. Nope, that's not right. Where is the VS Community on? Here. Where is it? I want to get to the, not the
Oh
down.
my.
Yes, oh my indeed. We opened a ticket for exactly that. And I can't find it real quick. So that's definitely something that you can do. Svava, I don't have the unicorn font on this machine. I need to install it. So, unicorn fonts on font space. Which one was it? Do you remember? Was it this one? Unicorns are awesome? It's not that one. Oh, it's not that one. Which one is it? Svava, can you help me out? I need a pointer to which unicorn font that I can install here and get into unicorn mode. So I am able to pass values down. It's the passing values up. It needs to be more colorful if it's going to be unicorn. Didi, it's going to get syntax highlighting. What more do you want? Fairy Rings would say it needs sparkles. It needs to have that special luminescence. I don't know. That's a thing. It won't in Notepad. Oh, Hugo, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
Wait, let me explain something to you.
Unicorn font in Notepad is painful. That's a thing. Rainbows and sparkles in Notepad. That's just wrong. Is Svava still there?
Oh
Did
my.
I lose it? Can you use WAF fonts in VS Code as it's an Electron app? I don't know, Zebcode. That's a good question. Did I ever find a chipmunk costume? Do you see the questions that I get here? Look, a chipmunk costume?
It's illegal in 9 countries.
Can't do it. Can't do it. Do you know what they do to chipmunks in Scandinavia? No, I can't back that up. I totally can't back that up. But I hear Fierce Kittens has some chipmunk costumes. Is this one good unicorn or bad unicorn? Which one is it? You just spit out your Diet Coke on your keyboard. Now I gotta replace DD's keyboard. What am I gonna do? Svava, you still there? I need some help so I know which unicorn font it is, because I don't have it on this machine. There we go. The bad unicorns seems to be the correct one. I don't think any of them seem to be the correct one. All right, we'll get this one. Download. Open with, sure, Windows Explorer. Install me some bad unicorn font. Look at this. Look at this! That's fine. I am up to the challenge of your bad unicorn font. And we'll get back in and talk more about MasterPages in just a second. All right. I just installed it, so I may have to restart Visual Studio. No, that's not it. Control Q, that's it. Change font size, type. What, Hugo? Soak it up with powdered donuts? That's not right. That's not right. Where is it? Bad unicorn. Demo, no less. That's fine. Look at this! Nope, I'm going to need to restart. Stand by for action. Sure, save that. That's fine. and show us all the unicorns. I see what you did there. And let me tell you, it's going to be painful for about 15 minutes. But we will get through this together. All right. Oh, right. Will you look at this? Ugh. Let me go back to fonts and let me just pump up the font size here a little bit. No. Font, change the font size. Come on. Open that thing up. And what Didi will tell you is that back in the day, this is how all the Microsoft developers used to program. Right? I have to zoom in. This is ridiculous. Are you kidding? Friends. Elliot Brand, hello. Something you desperately want to learn, maybe later? CQRS and event sourcing. We did some of that in the summer about a year ago. You can find the videos on stream. You can find the samples around the core wiki project on my GitHub. It's something that we're not going to hit for a little bit here. So, finally using Kitstead's default font. What? All right. This is better than Comic Sans, says Two Wolf. Two Wolf? What? No, it's not better than Comic Sans. It is better than Papyrus. Okay, Confession, I can buy that. Best font ever, says Didi. Okay. All right. Set a timer for 15 minutes.
Okay, 15 minutes and counting.
All right, here we go, friends. So it feels like if we do something, Stelzy was saying something pub sub-ish. Pub sub-ish? Is that a thing? Maybe. There goes productivity. Right? Maybe we can do something pub sub-ish with the master page settings so that it does properly. Look at how am I supposed to read this? I'm sounding like my friend Son here. So if I want to properly trigger a refresh when there's an update to settings, right? Yes, Lily Hazel is here. Hello, my friend. This is Bad Unicorn, and our friend Svava Blount requested this. If there's a change, right, I want to wait for all the settings to be changed before I trigger a refresh within the same event. Right? No hype for Svava. No, she doesn't get any hype. No.
60% of the time, it works.
No.
Every time.
I am not giving Svava any hype.
Totes my goats.
Giving me unicorns here. Does it support ligatures?
Oh,
Marcus!
my.
No, it does not. Look at that right there. Right? No ligatures for you. Stop it with the hype. Look at this. I've lost control of the chat room. I've lost control. Stop it. Okay. So how am I going to prevent this from firing twice and right, refreshing itself? Is it because it was in my master page? Right? If I look at layout, is it because I did it on parameter set instead of on initialize? If I move this over to on initialize, right? If I change this to on initialize. Where's Richard? Somebody tell our friend Richard Campbell that they're trolling me again in the chat room. My goodness. It's not fair. Here we go. Save this. Is that somehow better? Right? Does that somehow better handle the events and we don't trigger it multiple times and we get all the values? No. It doesn't. Or I need to restart. Is that Kamal Kosabayak says, think about changing stack in your company from Angular to Blazor. Blazor's great. It's got now full support from Microsoft as part of ASP.NET Core 3.1, so it will be there for at least 4 years for you. 3 years on Prime support, regular support, and an extra year so you can transition to the next version of .NET. We think it's server side, it's working great. WebAssembly, we should hear something more about that with its final release later this spring. As the first thing, Stelzy would implement iProperty changed on the settings class. Then you have an event when something got changed. Go on. Then I'm not passing. Okay. I think I see where Stelzy's going here. So let me go back over to the settings, right? This one. Look at this. Property notify changed, and I should. It's not available. iProperty notify changed, right? Isn't that? It's not property. I notify property changed. I have it backwards. There we go. And now if I implement that interface, I have a property changed event handler that we can handle, and we can raise that instead of passing in the state has changed and actually invoking it from somewhere else. So if I say property changed, invoke like that. Look, that's just wrong. Look at this. There is no argument given. This. Do I need some args? I do need some args. Property changed event args empty. Let's just start there. 'Cause maybe there's something we want to do with that later. What do you mean? Fine. Be that way. Now you don't like this. What don't you like about this? You want the property name. How's that? You like apples? How about them apples? Okay. Add. And this is going to be not key, but item.key. Can you read that? Because I can't. Okay. I think that's all of them. So now I can go back over to my layout. And this inherits from MasterPage layout base. I know. Is that Frida's babe? I know. It's terrible. Oh my goodness. Isn't the white background kind of hurtful to watch for a long time too? I need it because the light in the room is kind of hard. You won't be able to see my face if I'm back over in dark mode. So I could do, right? If I handle on notify property changed, yes, return to dust. I'm in Stockholm. If you're feeling brave, just use the WebDings font. It's not available. It doesn't work in Visual Studio. So where am I going to handle it and appropriately refresh things? What you got going on out there? Well, we're trying to build something that allows us to pass values back and forth to a layout page here. So there's a support ticket for it. For what? A private void. Well, I don't want to raise the property note. I've already invoked it. I need to handle it and do something with it over here. Right? Right, if I... That's not right. If I get rid of... If I get rid of this... Right? And if I say, let's just get this working, right? If I say settings, property changed, plus equals, hey, you're not going to give me the plus equals here? Can I convert to, yeah, I know. Settings, property changed event. Fine. On property changed, and actually I should be able to do this, and I was hoping it would generate that for me, and it won't let me control dot into that either. And you feel shame. You know what? Let's move this into the component. They do love to torture me. That's right. Is that Lurixon Enterprise? Yes. They do. They love to torture me. It's just not right. So where was the settings? Here, right? And if I look at the Blazor events over here, I could say settings dot, right, the on property changed here. Property changed. There it is. That's how I wanted this. So now I have an event handler here, and I could set up, right, something that sends a notification, actually calls things on the page to do something with this. Right? If I make this a protected virtual void and do nothing here, then inside of my index I could override that. No, I can't do it over here on the layout. I need something similar over here, right? Get rid of this and instead I'm chasing events around. I'm chasing these notifications around. Property changed plus equals and do the same thing. Right? Protected virtual void and do nothing. Otherwise, when I have the actual layout over here, right? Settings property change. There we go. So now I can look at the actual property that was changed and update it appropriately, right? Your brain is starting to understand this font. This is bad. I know, Marcus. I know. It's Batman is here. Hello, Batman. Good to see you. It's great that you're joining the League of Justice with the rest of us. ShiftKit says, do you run my Blazor apps with .NET Run? Yes. Do you have to rerun the project every time you make a change? No. If you do .NET Run, you do. You can .NET Watch Run and it'll work. But it only watches the top level project. If one of the internal projects changes that it references, you have to restart it on your own. So there's some tooling improvements that are coming there soon. So what I could do here is I could say, right, I could do a switch, right, on E property name, right? And I could say value from page, right, because that's up here. Now, why didn't it? No. Case. What's the value from page? It's this one, value from page. I could say value from page equals E dot. Well, thank you for the follow. Is that B Cachette? Welcome in. I don't have to say E. I can say settings value from page because that's what was updated, right? Now, why doesn't it like that? Yeah. I need to put a break. There we go. This needs to be cast to an int so that it matches types. And we might be in a better place now. Might. Let me restart this. I'm using IIS Express, and I'm also not attaching the debugger so that when I change things at the top level, it doesn't break. What do we got here? Uninitialized async and base web forms component. Why isn't it like this? Settings isn't a thing at that point. Stand by for action. Here, settings isn't a thing. Yeah. So maybe I need to move. Where do I have to move that? Not in the uninitialized. Does it go into on parameter set then? On parameter set, this should be async. Oh my goodness. How much longer do I have this font? Oh my gosh, we're almost done. We're almost done, friends. Right, if I do that, is that a thing? What do you mean you don't like that? Okay, I think I've got this. And that's inside my inner class, so I'm going to need to restart this. This is the font that I dream in? No. Wrong. What'd you do? They requested it. Cheesy font on me. There we go. That's the end of this. Whew. Gunny Bauke? Is that how you pronounce that? Welcome in. Thank you for the follow, Igatha. Welcome in. Let me change my font back while I still can, and before anybody makes me do anything that I'm going to regret. Cascadia Code, that's our preferred font that we use, and I typically program at 16 point. Hello? Cascadia Code, 16 font. Now Visual Studio is trolling me.
You're about to get a serious beatdown.
No. Are you kidding? I can't even change it back. What have you done? Oh my gosh. Like, really? Alright, we're gonna try closing and reopening then. And then, if it doesn't work, we're gonna open another ticket. Because we're stuck in unicorn font. Svava, you wound me. You wound me.
Inconceivable!
That's better. Look at that. It's really, really big, but okay, there we go. I shouldn't have to restart Visual Studio to change fonts. There we go, 16. Okay, good. Good. We're back. Dancing unicorns were going in front of my eyes here. Good luck reporting the use of unicorn in the first place. Thanks, kid. Thanks a lot. Look, changing fonts...
60% of the time, it works every time.
It does. This should be a thing here. This should totally be a thing. Why isn't it? Right? I'd hate to put it down here with on after render. Because that just feels weird to put it all the way at the end. That's what you get for using a demo version. I'm not using a demo version. Ooh, look at this. This is the preview version. Object reference not set to an instance of an object. The settings are not set yet. All right, let me roll that back to up here, right? Can I do that? See if that lands it. Imagine having to tell someone you once used that. I don't have to. Some of them are watching. And I'm going to hear about it at dinner tonight because I can hear them cackling at the conference center on the other side of town. It's going to be a problem. Let's see here. Build errors. What? Can only appear on the left side. All right, so I need to wrap this. If settings does not equal null. See, look at that nice ligature. Isn't that beautiful?
Oh my.
I know. It's so compelling and wonderful. It's only the finest quality electrons we used to make that does not equals ligature. Really. We went and we refined the finest, the best electrons we could find to make these ligatures so that you want to use them. I'm still not getting the value from the page, but is it actually raising that for me? Let me dig down into this, but I think you see something that's going on here. Do I usually use white background? No, it's only because of the lighting here and because I don't have lights. And I don't bring lights with me on the road. I could use a separate machine to connect to this Visual Studio with Live Share to set my preferred font. That's just wrong, Kabazi. So let me go down into Master Page, and I want to look at this getting triggered. So this should be triggered over here, right? I should be seeing that happen. Wait, this needs to be override, not virtual. I wonder if that's what I did. Yeah, I bet you that's it. I bet you that's it. You're supposed to catch these things, chat room. Sentiment is way down. Need those tacos. Thank you, Janescu. How do I like Sweden so far? Asks Wanted. It's been great. Really enjoying it. I've had a wonderful time meeting up with folks, some of our friends in Scandinavia, and hanging out, meeting folks, and I rode a scooter around town last night, around Stockholm. It was tremendous to be able to take my own virtual tour around town and see the palace and town hall and some of these really cool, amazing Swedish buildings. The rivers are just gorgeous at night. The water was still, and the way the light reflected off them was just beautiful. Really, really cool. Why am I not getting that value from page being passed back here, right? This should be a thing. That should totally be a thing. So the property name is value from page, and settings should have a value from page in here. There are 3 items, value from page. And if I look at the, 19952, so this should... Why aren't you stepping through? Yeah. So that should set value from page, which should paint right there, that 11952. So there's value from page. And what's coming in this time is... It's there. Values 86029. And it's not putting it on there, even though it set the value. So if I call state has changed at the end of this, right, to kind of force the refresh, because I set a property that should update appropriately here. So let's restart this. You imagine the choice font actually has to be readable and has to be loadable in Visual Studio. Not all fonts are loadable. Boom, I hit the infinite loop. It's not loading. right? So doing that isn't helping here. No. Right, so it's going to restart. We should be able to click into this and actually see it. But I'm setting that property. Why isn't it painting it? Right? I'm setting this, which sets here, which should force a repaint of these values, right? Let's do this to make this a little bit easier to pick out. Border 1px solid red, just so that I can and end div here. Right, that should reload and have the stuff there for us. There it is, and it's set the property, but it's not actually repainting the value. So why isn't it repainting and refreshing things? See, this is where I'm stumbling. This is where I'm not sure what to do at this point. Because, right, clearly the master page pushes things down. That's a cascading value. That does what we need it to do. But what then?
And then?
I don't know. Right? Do I have a separate page settings object that is able to pass stuff back up the stack? I'd like to have just one settings object and be able to trigger this. Can I make a button and try the state has changed from there? You know what? Good suggestion. Dark Repulsor.
I love it when a plan comes together.
Let's do it. Let's put a button out here. Right? This is easy. Right? At on click equals button click. Right? Click me. Actually, I don't even have to do like this. I can actually build the lambda and just say state has changed. Right? And it'll execute that inline C# code. How crazy is that? It's really crazy. But you can do that, and it's going to put a button on the page, and there it is. And it matches. So I need to somehow delay the state has changed. All right. Because we end up in infinite loop. Can I put in a timer? Well, that's an interesting idea. Right? All right, so let's put in a timer. Public, just to see if we can get it to work here. I don't want it to be public. Let's make it private. Can I make a timer? System dot timer's in. Is it in diagnostics? No. Where's timer? Timer. Right. If I control dot system dot timers, really? All right. Equals new. Oh, look at that. System dot threading dot timers. Dot timer. Okay. With an appropriate callback. Well, the callback is going to be the state has changed. Can we do that? Or can we even do something like this? Nope. Right, void that possibly takes an object as, well, if I do this. Ooh, look at that. Because I'm in a static instance at that point. It doesn't know this thing. Ooh, gross. Yeah, I lose context at that point. Right? Even if I threw it into a timer, it's going to execute and run and paint that. I'm not sure. Shouldn't there be options inside of... I thought... System.timers.timer timer equals new.
Hey, listen.
Yes. Excuse me. Try starting up a debug session, then pause the debugger when the loop starts going. Did I try a state has changed in the property set of value from page? Yes. Yes, I did. Let's do... Not synchronizing, not can... I thought there was a way... Can I do timer dot... Ugh. What's the elapsed signature? Elapsed event handler. You stink. I don't even know what that looks like. That way I can see the stack. Sure. So the question is, can we take a look at the infinite loop? Sure. So if I undo that, put the breakpoint there, and let this go. And let me go into master page. So here our state has changed because it's painted value from page. So that should reset, and now I'm on another call into this, and value from page is the same because this is being triggered again. State has changed, and it's still trying to set the same value back. Right, and if we look at the call stack, we're in master page index on parameters set async. So well, wait, I don't want to be passing that back in. Hang on. Wait a second. Wait. Wait. No, do that again. What's the property name that triggered? It was the value from page. See? So it's calling state has changed, and if we look at the call stack, right, here it is. We are inside of the layout settings property changed, okay, and going up one. This is on master page settings, setting the string there, and this is inside of the inner pages on page parameter sync here. So it's setting this and it's going up and it's firing the property change. That's the first time in. Now we're at the second time and I'm still on the same thing. Say. And I think it's because the inner page, we're on the page properties on parameter set. Hey Gareth, good to see you. Hello, hello, Jean Valjean. And King440, welcome. So maybe over here, instead of this, the inner one being on parameter set, maybe this needs to be on initialized async. That's not how you spell sync. There we go. And I should be able to... no, that's not going to work. This one. No. What don't you like that about that? Oh. I was right. I was right. Thank you. Gareth is another member of the Live Coders team. Thank you so much for the shout out, Hugo. Okay. So here I am, state has changed on initialized async. Notifying that, and that worked. That worked. Friends. Let's tinker one more thing in here. So if I'm over on my index page, set new random value. And we do this. Value on page equals new. I don't care. And I can put some curly braces around here, and I can also say settings value on page. Yeah, that's no. Equals value on page, right? Curly braces. Cool. So now that should reset that and push things down. I moved the event eagle from on parameter set in the inner page to the on initialized, right? So here's the value created on the page. The value from the page is being passed up, right? So I clicked this, it set that value, it raised the event, but that didn't update because, and I can force it to update, it's not picking up the value. Look at that. See, we're in this very interesting passing back and forth of data here, and it just doesn't feel right. It feels peculiar. So here's the state has changed. And I've got the same value in both places without having to click. Because I'm calling state has changed on this. If I click now set a new random value, the value from page is not the same. No, we didn't. Jean Valjean, we didn't get there yet. Didn't get there yet. We're going to get to those in a minute here. I have a feeling. So the settings with the property has changed. I don't have the value don't have the value there. Interesting. If I walk up the stack here to here, it passed the appropriate value in. Oh, friends, here's some interesting. The value was passed, but it's not made it to here, the settings object. Right? If I go back up the stack, right, move the frame of reference. Now I've done it. I've angered it. Here is some interesting. Yes, here is some very interesting. So, right, we've got to figure out and pass this around a little bit better. It doesn't feel right. And I've angered the Visual Studio. Cancel! You won't cancel. So I've killed the web server to try and get it to break Visual Studio here, and that's not breaking either. Bummer. So this is a problem that I want to drop back and punt on for right now. I'm getting a different instance of it. So this doesn't make sense. This isn't doing what I want. So that I can pass that reference, so I can pass that setting down and pull it back. I do not think you get anything out of using the iNotify property change. I don't think I do either. I don't think that's doing anything either at this point. It's not being set right now. Because it should have been set over here. Ah, Calvin did. Okay. So let me do that. And if I go back into here, and if I turn these back on, okay, restart it. It is very good info on the life cycle of Blazor. And you have a link there for us. Nice. And if I try and force it, it doesn't get it. That doesn't get it either. So I'm at this weird point of chasing the event and making sure that it's passing these values around properly, and it feels weird. It doesn't feel right, chat room. And I'm definitely just missing something. King1440 asking if I could review your CV. There's a channel points redemption for that. You're welcome to. It's not just I have it for conference session submissions. I'll review a CV for that as well. So, going to have to be an event handler. Yeah. So that it fires outside the scope. Right. And I mean, I'm hitting this properly. So this is the one part that we need to figure out, right? And let me get rid of the timer here. Oh, and I've removed it here on the layout. That should be setting properly now. The review your session isn't available? Sure it is. 10,000 bits, review my session submission. If you hit that one also, I'll review a CV, sure. So now if I go back over here, see it's not. That didn't work. And it didn't work that way either. Now I've completely lost it. But it's passing down information about the master page so the child page can interact with it. And I'm losing my focus and patience with this, chasing the events back and forth. So I'm gonna stick a pin in this because it just doesn't feel right. There's something wrong here, and I want to think about it and come back to it. Chasing events. Still not working properly. This is a spike, so we're going to figure this out. We're going to tinker and figure it out. So the other one that I wanted to show you that this kind of led into is, well, how do I set the page title? Because a page has a title property in web forms, and that title property bubbles all the way up to the HTML, so you can set that. So I started tinkering with, well, I want to set the page title. Let me show you where this started going, because this might be even more interesting and useful. So we know that it's on the host, and it's there as title, and I can actually execute some JavaScript. There you go. Where's the JavaScript horses? To get there and do this. So if I reach down here, BWFC, I wrote, there's the horses. So I would have to use some JavaScript. So I wrote a little object here that I would hang off of BlazorWebFormsComponents that has simple functions, yes, that will directly set the document title or return the document title. So if I go down to my base web forms component, right, I set up, where'd it go? I thought it was in here. No, I got into thinking of a page component. We don't know if this is a web forms component. This is a page. And it's going to have the JavaScript runtime passed into it, and pay no attention to this part just yet. But I said JavaScript runtime invoke asynchronously, and I call for the get of title, get the page title, or set the page title with the appropriate value, so that I call that JavaScript to trigger and do something with it. So if I go back over here to my sample where I was testing and working on this, page samples, I have this idea of this is the current page title, and I want to be able to set that title from somewhere else. So base.title, page title from Blazor. Now if I run this, it's going to try and execute some JavaScript and set that for me. So it didn't set it because I'm interacting with this before it's available, before the JavaScript is available. So it can't actually, well, hang on, let me go back over. Let me go back over here and make this value. And I'm going to change this to IJS runtime. Okay. There should be one more place. Here it is. You're going to see what I was trying to do here in a minute. Oh, I got to restart. Here we go. Let me see what's going on here. Gareth, you're going far out of way to avoid using JavaScript that you're working with Fable and F#. Nice. Render a Blazor component in the head and inject a state that handles setting it, asks Conficient. That's not a bad idea, but I don't know if you can put a directive in the head of a page. Or if you can have more than one Blazor component on a page, on a web page running at the same time in a browser. There it is. Page title from Blazor. It executed my JavaScript and set it and put it up there. So now I've got an ability to call and set the title from elsewhere on the page. Yep, testing components that use IJS runtime. Yes, we're going to need to do that, but I'm not there yet, because what I'd like to do is I'd like to be able to set that value. I'd like to be able to get that value and put it up here. So if I say at title, because I want to be able to read that, that's not going to work. Look at this. You can already see. Bang. I'm trying to access JavaScript interop, but before the on-after render has happened. The JavaScript interop isn't there. But I wasn't touching it. So somewhere, because of this, it's trying to access it and it's not available yet. Yes, dependency injection, indeed. So, dynamic hosts CAS HTML file. Ooh. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. So you take a unit test on the MasterPage branch on what exactly you want to accomplish. I want to take a look at it. See if you can fix it, says Kabazi. So that's just it. I don't know how to write a unit test for that master page. Because the master page is a layout. Eagle, can we test a layout? Hey there, Honey Pop. Hello, welcome in. So, I can't do a get of it and put it there. Right? I would have to... Right, I could do something like, and this feels like a little bass backwards here, right? Protected override task on parameter set async. Oh, gosh. On parameters set async. Yeah, I really want to reach out to our Visual Studio friends and ask them about that. About that typo issue that we have here in the Razor editor. If in here I say page title equals title, right? Make sure that that happens after. Actually, I should make this. Put that down there. And then I can change this from title to page title. And that should work now. Is the layout a I component? I don't know. Oh no! See, I think I've broken it again now. Right, that should await just pop right through. Dan Roth has said they're working on editor improvements, says Blazor Mr. Magoo. All right, good to know. Thank you. Right, I'm in an infinite loop here somewhere. Rats. Oh, Jeff. Chat room. Oh my goodness. I missed the base dot, so it was actually calling itself.
Oh my.
Okay. JavaScript interop calls cannot be called at this time. And this is from page title equals title. It's telling me that there is no JavaScript interop. The component is being statically rendered. What do we think? Can only be performed during the on-after render async method. And I did. Oh. On-after render async. And it's something like this. Right, so try that again. Didn't work. Right? Tried setting page title so that it would pop up there, and do I have to call state has changed? Nope, still doesn't find it. Right, so I'm setting the property so that it would hopefully fill that in, and no dice. So I should be able to get things out of the JavaScript runtime and pass it along here, but it's not. So I'm once again here kind of confused. What I'd like to be able to do, and what you saw me starting to tinker with, is to put together some way to schedule the interactions with the JavaScript runtime, so that if you do call and interact with it, delay, capture that task, pass it along to the after render async, and execute it at the end of the stream, and run all those tasks then, and return that they've appropriately interacted. How am I injecting the JavaScript runtime? It's being injected inside of my base page component here with an inject right there. So it's available. It's just sitting there and won't paint the screen. It's updated my page appropriately because I've got the title that I wanted to set from inside of here. But it's not hitting it. Can that be an auto property? Yeah, I was doing something different there. So this is where I was trying to set up the ability to schedule the JavaScript so that it would pass in at JS runtime and store a schedule JS runtime. So if you tried to do things before on after render async happened, it would queue it up. And once on after render async triggered, go execute everything in the queue. No, it's not. It's right there. It's right there. I could put a button on this page. Right? Let's do it. Add on click. And I can do page title. Why didn't it see page title? Yeah, okay. Equals title. I'm not even looking at WebAssembly. So that's not getting anything out of... Oh, well, here's the question. Is my... That returns. Is my... Get page title... It's calling get await or get result here because I'm inside of, right? So that I can return the value from it. So I need to call state has changed to fire it. Okay, so if I go back over here. Refresh. Still didn't get it. So I have a feeling that's somewhere wrapped up in this. Right, this isn't somehow returning something. Invoke async should be returning a string. Do I need that? Do I need that in order to get this to fire? No, it is returning something. No, I'm not trying surstrumming. No. No, Julix, I know what surstrumming is. I am not trying surstrumming. Nice try. Haha! I'm not that crazy. That deeply fermented, nasty fish. I shouldn't have to do this. No, I am definitely... I have get await or get result in the getter. Because I need to get the value out of this. And this is a title, right? I mean, I could turn this into, instead of a property, I could make this into full methods that do that, right? And effectively delegate. So I could do public async task of type string, get title, JS runtime. Let's just And I can get rid of this. Return await. There we go. Right? And that should get the title. I can also do the set, but I don't need that just yet. Get title. Right? Yeah, you don't like that, do ya? Do ya, punk? Get a waiter, get results. I know that's bad to do, but trying to let it go. Yeah, okay. Right, if I take this out, make that. It's a value task. Right, but I'm still doing this up here so that I get the result. Oh, put the async in front of it. Good idea. Good idea, chat room. Thank you. And then I can await that. Right? But I'm also going to have to do state has changed in order to force it to repaint it. Nope, didn't get it. So let's run this with the debugger attached. Right, put a breakpoint right there. See what happens. Well, it's not doing anything anyway, right? I'm not even getting it clicking through and calling get title. This isn't triggering at all, right? No. That's not triggering anything when I click this. That's weird. Try that again. Nope. Equals await. What do you mean? Of course it does. It's right there. Get title. That's why. We should see something. Can I try an alert with the JavaScript to see if it's working? It's setting the title. Look. Page samples, right? Now we're hitting the get. The title, page title from Blazor, that was set. Page title, await get title. Right? Now it's executing get page title, which is inside here, and it's right there, get page title. And that works. Right? It's trying to execute it again for some reason. And again. And again. Probably because of that state has changed, right? Is what you were saying. I don't need that. What do you mean page title doesn't have? If first render. I can do it down there. Now it appears. So you're telling me if first render do it? Usually want to do initialization code inside of that, otherwise it will fire every single time a state changes. Right. But it wasn't even firing that one. See, it's not hitting it. So this, right, let me go back over here, put a breakpoint there. Oh, I don't have the debugger on. Blah, 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 blah. Got to run to pick up some pizza. Have a good one, Eagle. It does hit it, but not state has changed. Let me take a look-see here. Got it. Oh, and you're telling me I need to fire state has changed. Oh, I see what you're saying. Stop that over here. Sometimes it's confusing to know when state is changed is needed or not. I completely agree. There it is. Okay. So here's what I'm looking at, though, is I want to be able to schedule those interactions with JavaScript so that they all trigger here. And I think there's an opportunity to schedule those by adding them into a queue and be able to call them down here programmatically, right? Because we've effectively moved that await to way down here, right? So we're in a better place. I can get rid of this button now. I don't need that. Right? And, right, even if I wanted to just write title here, right? I can't bind directly to it because it's going to try and render it before it's available. So, am I using title tag or document.title? What do you mean, am I using title tag? The script that I wrote is accessing document.title, which references what's inside the title tag. Isn't this confusing? But if I can schedule that JavaScript interaction by wrapping the JavaScript runtime and popping the calls to it after render. Well, let me show you. If I go back over here, right? If I'm in, and I tried to do something like this, so I knew that we were in this. If first render, let's do this. And if I set up a way to a scheduled JavaScript runtime. So it's going to inject the JavaScript runtime. I'm going to wrap it with my own little scheduled JavaScript runtime, which does effectively the exact same things. Invoke async is set up to just call if the render has happened, go execute these things directly. Otherwise, put a task on a queue, and we'll pop those later and actually run them. So can we do a little bit of scheduling of these instead? If I run that now, it didn't set the page title. It's on this queue waiting to be run. Say. So I think there's an opportunity to introduce a scheduled runtime, to delegate, take those things at whatever time you're interacting with them, and do that later on in the process. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you joining us. So I'm going to mark this back to value so that it still works. And I'm going to commit what I have here JavaScript interaction with the title now works in on after render async. But it works, but I don't have it actually doing this scheduled interaction, so I can just interact with the JavaScript anywhere and it will schedule it appropriately to run when it should be run. Nope, that wasn't it. So I think there's an opportunity to do that, because then we can schedule and do other things also at the appropriate time later in the stack, later in the Razor call stack, as things are made available. Exactly. We're going to pop a queue. We're going to pop a shot. We're going to pop a queue. It's going to be amazing. So those are the things that I've been thinking about. Those are the things that I want to check out and do, and I'm going to inspect over the next day or so here and see what we can come up with. But for now, I need to say goodbye because it's late. I'm catching up with some friends here, and we're going to grab some dinner. And I need to return a couple phone calls. So let's set up for a raid. All right, what do you think there, chat room? I'm going to put the raid call out. And I'm going to see who else is streaming over here on Twitch that we can support. We can send all of our love over to. And you know what? Let's raid Codephobia. He's doing a little bit of project management over there on his stream. So let's raid Copperbeardy's on? Oh, even better. We'll raid Copperbeardy. My goodness. Copperbeardy's very good for it. So, friends, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you joining me. This has been a tremendous trip for me over to Stockholm. I have one more day here. Tomorrow, I'm going to be meeting with folks at the Coding After Work meetup, and we're going to be talking about how they can get started. How they can get started with live streaming here on Twitch. I think that's tremendous that folks are interested and want to get involved and participate in the platform. I'm looking for my intro music and I don't see it. Where'd my intro music go? Because I had it playing. That's not it. Nope, it's not over there either. It's hiding on me. I can't find... no.
Greetings,
No, that's not it.
friends.
There it is. Thank you so much, everybody. I appreciate you tuning in. Don't forget to push. Did I not push? I thought I did a get push. Yep, we did a get push. Thank you so much for tuning in, everybody. This was a lot of fun today. And I will... The session tomorrow night will be recorded. It will be available. I'm going to try and stream again here before I go to the user group meeting tomorrow evening. And I'll see you tomorrow. I will not be online on Thursday. Thursday I'm flying home back to North America. But Friday I should be streaming at my normal time. It might be a little crazy, but we're going to do it. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. Get ready to say hello to Copper Beardy. Or we're already over there. Take care.